Hello, my loves. Happy Friday. Risa coming to you live for real talk about relationships. And so I am here today to talk to you about helping you get clarity on what you need. I think that's the biggest thing that people, when they come to me and they find this group, are just wanting to get clear. If you're trying to figure out if you can make your relationship work, or maybe you already know somewhere deep down in your heart that it's really not, it's not going to serve you going forward, that it's just really not a match for you anymore, that you've outgrown it. And there's a lot of reasons why we stay stuck in relationships that we're unhappy with, of course. It brings up a lot of fear and confusion, and I talked about this before, but confusion, that's sort of one of the mind's protective mechanisms, because a confused mind does nothing, really can't act. So the problem is that, most women, they just get caught up and, they think they can just kind of figure it out, and they keep going like day to day, and they just get caught up in all the fear and all the confusion. And what I want you to know is that there's actually a process that you can go through if you're really trying to figure out if you can make your relationship work. I call it the relationship clarity process. And because you just don't really need to struggle. You don't need to keep struggling with the question. That's kind of a waste of energy. Would you agree? Type in, by the way, if you're here, or if you're on the recording, and type in any comments, questions. But yeah, you just, most women, they don't know that, like, you really just don't have to keep struggling with that question. And so there's a process. And what it looks like, the relationship clarity process, what it looks like is that the first thing we need to do really is just get our focus off what's not working, because we're not going to solve the problem by continually focusing on the problem. We have to start to shift our attention onto finding the solution. And you know where the solution comes from? It comes from you getting clear within yourself and getting in good, loving, right relationship with yourself. And so, yeah, it's perfectly understandable why, we get stuck in all the fear and all the confusion and, all the potential pain and disruption when we start to contemplate leaving a relationship that we've been in for a long time. But you know what? If you're here and you're listening to this right now and you're really unhappy, then, it's like, I think you owe it to yourself. We got to either figure out, can I make this work? Can you be happy within the context of this relationship? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Or get the support you need to be able to lovingly release it and do it in a loving and amicable way, not out of a reaction to anything your partner's doing. That's another mistake that most women make, is then they take action out of anger or frustration. And I was very clear about that when I left my marriage. I just knew, like, I didn't want that decision to be out of a reaction. I wanted to just have it come from a real deep place of inner knowing. And so the relationship clarity process, that's the first step, is like, just come home to yourself. We got to bring our attention back to ourselves. And start to really just get clear on, what's not working. And actually, I'm really happy to announce to you that I'm going to be on live with you on Thursday night next week for a free masterclass. How do you know when it's time to go? And I'm going to really take a deep dive. I'm going to walk you through this relationship clarity process. And we're going to just talk about, like, what's not working and can you fix it? What do you really need to be happy? Help you get really clear on what do you really need to be happy, and looking at our expectations and how that may either be helping us or hurting us in our relationship. And, I think that's one of the biggest issues, is that, why we're unhappy, is that we're just wanting our partners to be different than how they're being, right? And it's not to say that there aren't things that would need to change if we're going to be able to stay and be happy, but that's where our frustration and our suffering comes in, is when we're just constantly trying to make them be different than how they're being. We don't have control over that. So we're going to take a deep dive into looking at that, and what do we have control over, and what do we don't have control over, and getting the focus off what's not working and back onto ourselves, so we can start to get clear within ourselves. And then, just talking about the relationship clarity process. How do you really know when it's time to go? Well, it's basically, in a nutshell, we get the focus back on our relationship with ourselves, get really clear within ourselves, start to show up differently in the relationship. Because it's like a dance, right? I know I say this all the time. When one person starts to show up differently, you really have a lot of power to shift the whole dynamic of the relationship. So I want you to start dancing in alignment with your truth and who you are, and then it also involves up-leveling communication skills. And then, that's kind of it in a nutshell, is that you just start to show up, as the best version of you, the most loving version of you, with good communication skills. And then it really just becomes like an experiment. And clarity actually emerges. It's a natural process. When you get clear within yourself, you're showing up as the person you want to be, and you feel good about who you are, and whole and sovereign over your own emotions. These are all the things that I help my clients do. Then it becomes obvious. Can he dance with me over here? Or, is he leaning in? Is he leaning out? And you have your answer. And then if you get to the point where you see that it's really not working, then I showed up as the best version of myself and did everything possible to see if I could make this work or not. And then you're also in a position to, if you make the decision that it's not working, to be able to release it lovingly, because you're already whole and happy in yourself. I mean, you already are whole within yourself anyways. But I think that that's the mistake that I certainly made, was that I was looking to my partner so much to fill something in me, and needing him to show up in a certain way in order for me to be happy. So I've worked with women that have found that once they've been able to shift and get in really good alignment and loving relationship with themselves, that maybe what their partner has been doing, they sort of change the narrative in their mind about what does that mean, and it recognizing, that's really more about him. It's really not about me, and I'm already, feeling like more empowered, like I'm whole and happy in myself. I feel my life is full. And, he's kind of the icing on the cake. And if you like the icing, you can keep it. And if it's not a flavor that's compatible with your cake, then maybe it's time to lovingly just let that go. So, and I know that's not an easy thing, and it's not a decision that we come to lightly. But really, this is the first step, is to bring your focus back to yourself, and just know that wherever you're at right now, however you're feeling, it's okay. And just even right now, if you would like to, just try this with me. Just put your hands on your heart and take a breath. And just by putting your hands on your heart automatically calms your nervous system. You can even close your eyes for a moment if you like, or just bring your attention within yourself. And I just really want you to just give yourself a little love right now. A little appreciation, just affirming, wherever I'm at right now in this moment in my life, in this relationship, I'm exactly where I need to be to learn whatever I need to learn. Whether I'm just trying to figure out if I can make this work or not. Just give yourself a little love, a little appreciation, and know that you are on the path to figuring it out. And I really want to invite you to join me on Thursday next week for the free How Do You Know When It's Time to Go masterclass. I'm going to pop a link into the comments. There's also one at the top of the page if you want to join me live on Zoom. It's 7 to 8 Eastern Time on Thursday the 26th. And we're going to just really take a deep dive into all of this, so that you can feel like you can just stop struggling with the question and get the tools you need to understand, like, I'm in a process right now, and I see the path before me, and I see the next steps that I need to take to get the clarity that I need. And so obviously we're not making any big life decisions in an hour, but I promise you are just gonna feel a lot of relief, a lot more at peace. And just knowing you're on the path, you can kind of relax into knowing I'm on a path now to finding the clarity I need, and I see what that path looks like. Sound good? So click that link if you want to join me. If you can, join me live, and because we're going to have question and answer. It's all confidential. Only I'll be on the recording, and then we'll shut that off and have private time for question and answers. So come and join me. We have some time to chat. I'd love to see you live. And type in here any questions, comments that you have. I'll be watching for those. Give this a thumbs up if it was helpful for you. That gives me some feedback as to how I can best support you. But I'm wishing you lots of love, and I just really want to invite you for an action step. I always like to leave you with an action step, some practical tip is just, here's the weekend coming up. And what can I do to just, I really want to invite you to, if you can carve out just even a few minutes of quality time with yourself. Maybe it's just quiet time where I can go and, I love to be in nature. Nature is very healing. There's actually a lot of studies on that too. But, what can I do to just carve out a little bit of quiet time, a little bit of quality time for myself? Because this is really, if you really want the clarity you need, you really want to be able to be happy and move ahead, it's like, we've got to be able to come back to ourselves and get in good alignment with what's true for us, honor how we feel. Just be nice to you. Love yourself up. Carve out a little bit of time just to make a little date with yourself this weekend. Have a little bit of quality time, whatever that looks like for you, even if it's just a few minutes. And what can I do to just love myself up a little bit and do some self-care? And remember the bottom line question, anytime you're feeling unhappy, any negative emotion, the go-to question, what do I need to do right now to take care of myself? Right? What do I need to do? Maybe it's just, I need to rest. I need to eat something healthy. I need to go for a walk. I need to get outside. I don't know. I need to just stop and take a few breaths. So I love you. Enjoy your weekend. Take good care of you, and click that link. There's one at the top, and there's one in the comments. Click that link if you want to come and join me for our free masterclass Thursday night. How do you know when it's time to go? I help you really get on that path to finding the peace and the clarity that you need, and it can start right now. You don't have to keep struggling, love. So I love you. Take good care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.